do it in 10 minutes?
Possible.
I can do it in less. That's much of it is open to
Just say yes.
Number 9.
Look, this paper is an information item, just bringing you up to speed with some of the central government's initiatives, particularly around the freshwater reform package, the Essential Freshwater Program it's branded as now, and also the other thing that's on government's books at the moment is the resource management system reform. So first things first, the Essential Freshwater Program update. I'll pretty much take this item as read. Two key messages here is that the reform from the package from the government is out there. The other key message is that this regional council is not in this alone, and certainly we are part of a joined up regional centre network thinking about how we can implement many elements of this freshwater package, not on our own but with others alongside us. That's involving regional councils, unitary authorities, representatives from Kahui Waimari, representatives from some environmental NGOs, and also some reps from primary sector. MFE and MPI, Ministry of Primary Industries, have released already some fact sheets. They're online, more is to come, and certainly more and more materials will be out there in public arena in the coming months as well, as more effort is put into implementing this freshwater package. For us internally here, it's certainly involving a heck of a lot of effort from many teams in the organisation to implement new national rules, and also what you've heard earlier this morning, thinking about what the new NPS, FM and all the other NPSs mean for our resource management planning work programme and what lies in front of you, the Regional Planning Committee. The paper mentioned that there's upcoming workshops likely to focus on Te Mana Rotoai, so I won't go any further on that. And we're also trying to schedule an audience with the Chief Freshwater Commissioner, Peter Skelton, to come and spend some time with you. Peter Skelton has been appointed by Minister for the Environment to be that Chief Freshwater Hearings Commissioner. He's doing the rounds of all the regional councils, and it will be our turn sometime soon before Christmas if we can land a date. Turning to the resource management system reform work, Ministers appointed a panel chaired by Tony Anderson QC to do some thinking about what that resource management, the future resource management system might look like. That panel has presented its 500 odd page report back to the ministers. It is now out there and publicly available. The panel's report makes over almost 150 recommendations. There's a heck of a lot in there to digest for the incoming government, whoever that might be. The panel's work is just a package of recommendations. It is not in law at this moment. It's not in force. It is just a massive amount of recommendations on what the future resource management system might look like. My paper just touches on that very lightly. To guess what the next government might choose to do with that, crikey, I don't have a crystal ball for that, so it would just amount to a lot of speculation, and we could spend a lot of time guessing and second guessing what the government may or may not do. Safe to say that the ball is firmly going to be in the hands of the new government come results of Saturday's election. We've already heard that both sides of the House are keen on some sort of amendments to the Resource Management Act. Some would say get rid of it, gone by lunchtime. Others have a different view. So in the planning team in particular, we aren't giving too much thought or contemplation to the panel's recommendations at this point in time. We're kind of just waiting to see what the incoming government makes of it, and then we'll take a closer look at that at that time. But needless to say, if and when the Resource Management Act is amended and reformed in some way, shape or form, it will be a significant piece of work. It will touch on many parts of this council's activities, touch on many dimensions of our communities of interest. So it is certainly not something to be underestimated in terms of advocacy effort and whatever it might look like to implement by this council. So it's just a foreshadowing of what might lie around the corner. I didn't attempt to try and paint a picture of what is guaranteed to be around that corner. I just am unable to paint that picture right now. But in the meantime, certainly happy to take any questions if you do have any on both the RM system reform item and the freshwater package.
Questions for Gavin? Is that hand going up, Craig, or is that just a sigh?
No, that was just, like the Pope.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was a bit like that. Yes, Abby.
Where would I find those 150 recommendations? How can you circulate those? So I've got some nighttime reading.
Conveniently, those 150 odd recommendations are in the panel's executive summary, so I can circulate a link amongst you to
That's a good thing to do.
Yep.
Thank you.
Contact your local MP, he'll probably give you a copy of it in writing. You could do a software.
Any other questions for Gavin? Did actually have half an hour, Gavin, not 10 minutes.
I'm happy to move.
We have a mover and a seconder. Do you want to speak? Anyone wish to speak?
Yeah, I just want to say I'm actually really excited about the direction, because if it's all about being able to swim in our rivers, like, as we did as children, and for our children to be able to swim in those rivers without getting sick, to be able to collect kaimoana and collect tuna within our waterways in our coastal environment area, I'm really supportive of the move in the direction it's heading. It's going to be quick, but the sooner we can do more, the better. Kia ora.
Yeah, thank you, Gavin. The government's obviously done a huge amount of work here. I went on some of these links, and it's just amazing, really. So I'm in an Haniwai's camp. I think as a nation, we are definitely moving forward. There's no doubt about it. Just hope we don't have, we revert back like some countries around the world have done. But this country's definitely moving forward on these environmental issues. So thanks for your report. All those in favour of receiving it? Oh, did Martin have something? Wait.
I just wanted to comment because, this is obviously an area that I've lived and breathed 25 years. I could probably talk for not that amount of time at this point, but some considerable time. But I don't think I've ever seen so much happening in the landscape as is happening now. The direction of travel is clear with it, and I think it's exciting. What we saw in the coastal report today was the result of a lack of clear national direction from the outset, the lack of bottom lines, fluffy, fudgy policies. Whereas, I've got the NPSFM 2020 here, and it's very clear. It may be ambitious, but you can understand it. It doesn't say 10 different things that conflict with each other. The new RMA, as it would be, equally, central government is going to have to set by law national bottom lines and limits that are above bottom lines, and is going to have to provide that support to us as a local authority about how we therefore confront our communities in meeting some of these enormous challenges. It'll be in part because we've been told to do it that way. And I think that will be very helpful. My overriding thought is that we're on exactly the right pathway with Kotahi. I see that we will be looking at a landscape of a combined plan. I really think that that's going to be something that will be on our regional landscape within 5 years, under the new National Natural Environment and Built Environment Act. So look out for that. But that means we're going to have to partner not just, as an RPC, but with the territorial authorities. because that is going to be a combined district plan, and regional policy statement. But in the meantime, we should do our part and keep paddling forward and getting that RPS and that regional plan framework set. So I think whichever government comes in would pick up the Randerson report. You'd be just insane not to. I really do think it's got a lot of merit in the way that it integrates Tauranga Māori into structurally into the Act, and not just when it says give effect to Te Mana o Te Wai, that's actually taken a step higher in what would come through. You're going to have to give effect to the treaty. All right, but then they're going to have a Māori advisory board that helps councils deal with how to do that. I mean, there is no piece of legislation at the moment that says give effect to the treaty. So it's not just going to be the performance standards and the way you set quality limits. It's structural, and it's going to be an incredibly exciting time. I just look forward to it. So
Thank you, Martin. Anyone else wish to speak? Otherwise, I'll put the motion. We have a mover and a seconder. All those in favour? Receiving? Aye.
Aye.
How do we go? Everyone's there? Good one, thank you. Gavin, you stay right in your seat, don't you? Resource Management Policy Projects Update.
Oh, I can talk to that.
Kerry talking to that, okay. They didn't give you much time.
No, I don't need much time. This is our regular update on how our various work streams are tracking. So in terms of an update on outstanding water bodies. Sorry.
I'm just winding the chair up.
We've summarised all of those submissions. We've received further submissions, and we are gearing up for the hearing, which is scheduled to start on in the first week of December, and we're looking forward to seeing how the process unfolds. Mohaka, you've had the update earlier today. Tank, we, as you know, had 240 submissions on Tank. We are almost at the end of entering all of those submissions into our database. It's taken us a considerable amount of time. They've worked like Trojans, and they've done an excellent job there. And once those submissions are all entered, we can then release the summary of those submissions and call for further submissions. An update on the WCO there. We have mediation on that tomorrow and Friday, and then the hearing is scheduled for early February. And that's essentially
Thank you, Kerry. Any questions for Kerry? There are none. Do we have some? Your move. Thank you, Joanella. Seconder. No, Uppy had his hand up first. Since I've been ignoring you lately, so.
I just realised that's another time you've ignored me.
Do you wish to speak, Joanella? Uppy?
No comments, thank you, Mr. Chair.
All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Statutory
advocacy update. I'll take that as well. Again, this is our regular update. The items where there has been a change since the previous update are highlighted in red. I can perhaps take this as read, this paper.
Any questions on this paper?
Just having a quick look at the submission on the whitebait situation, and wonder if any of my fellow councillors had any comment.
Oh, the improving whitebait management, that was way back
I read
in March.
improving catching, sorry, yeah, I've misread it.
You have to get to the river, Craig.
Peter Bevan would certainly have a comment. Any other questions? No questions. Do we have a mover to accept this paper? Receive it. Joanella again. Anyway, no, Martin's here. Do you wish to speak, Joanella? Martin? Anyone else wish to speak to the paper? All those in favour? Aye. Against? Right. Oh boy, we zoomed along there. Thanks, Kim.
Well done.
Yeah. Item 12, minor items, we just have one. anyway.
Yeah, yesterday we had an exciting trip. Who was there? Rex, Uppy, myself, Neil, Martin gave his apologies, Joy gave her apologies, and also 2 other Napier City councillors and some of our staff. So we went on a bit of a tiki tour to 5 sites around Ahuriri, where we could look at the Lagoon Farm land area by Prebinson Drive from different angles. And the opportunity there to create a regional park, that was really exciting, 700 acres, but I think the most exciting part about it is that there will be a wetland there to polish our stormwater. The land is owned by Napier City Council, but they're looking at ways to utilise the rest of that land, which is only viable really for a wetland. The council is going through a process of rezoning it to a conservation type area, and it's huge, up about 700 acres of land that's currently being used to graze by sheep. But Napier City have, they've committed that area to look at what can we do to restore, almost reclaim for the estuary. So that was a really exciting start to the journey, really, and the conversation. We went with a blank canvas and thought, what can we do in this space, this magnificent space that can only be really used for one purpose? So I thought I'd just share that and share the start of a journey that will take years, but that we're really happy that this working group is coming together and looking at a use for that land. Originally in the Ahuriri master plan, I think 2022 was going to look at the start, so we've sort of brought this forward a bit and thought actually the dynamics between Napier City and Hawke's Bay Regional, there is that willingness to want to work together more collaboratively. We also were explained by the Napier City staff around the waterways that feed our estuary. You could call them drains, they'd like us to call them waterways, because we need to treat them more like waterways and habitat areas. And whatever we put in our drains and our waterways will end up feeding the estuary. If we can have a filtering system in before it enters the estuary, that's us looking after our coastal area. Kia ora.
Anyway, that was an excellent summary. So that is the end of our formal meeting, or our public meeting, and Petty and I disagree on these things. I think we should be formally closing our public meeting. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Oh, last time you said we wait to the final meeting.
I'm guided by you, Chair.
Oh yeah, I got my own way then. So could you please...
Isn't it good? Not everyone's ignoring you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Petty. So we'll close our meeting. And thanks for the public for watching us. And
Sorry. Take that down.
And our workshop was to commence. We're running it early. Do I get a compliment on that, Deputy Chair? Half an hour early?
That's so
About
shocking.
time you got your act together.
Thank you, Petty. You called me.
You've got 1 hour up your sleeve
Half
for the
an hour.
future, half an hour. So we'll go through, actually I'll just read the whole line and then you can follow. It's just one that's got about 5 words in it, te whakatikanga ki ki rungara. So I'll go through that part slowly. So I'll go through it and then you repeat after me. This is going to be a wee bit like whakataka te hau, where you will not need your cards in the future. And at some point, Henewai and I are just going to spring onto you. We're going to sing this.
So can Rick and Rex have a go at singing it?
Scottish soldier we do.
You wait for
After he learns the words.
You wait for that. Right, here we go. Te ara I whanatu waira.
Te ana, te whanga.
Oh, come on.
I can't read it.
Can't read it.
I can't read it.
Right.
No, it's not written in Māori.
F5.
I can't read it.
There we go. No excuses now.
Thank you.
Here we go. Te ara I whanatuaira.
The
Te
other.
ara I whanatuaira.
Pūrākau e tū mai nei.
Pūrākau e tū mai nei.
Oh, we're getting better. E piki ki runga rā,
E piki ki runga rā,
kia marama ahau.
kia marama ahau.
Kei raro ko te matau,
Kei raro ko te matau,
te whakatikanga ake ki runga rā,
te whakatikanga.
te whakatikanga ake ki runga rā.
Te whakatikanga ake ki runga rā.
Oh, we'll take the first time you said it. Ka titi whā te rehutai,
Ka titi whā te rehutai,
te ara I whanatuaira.
te ara I whanatuaira.
Ko te kura ki ahau,
Ko te kura ki ahau,
hei tohu noa ake ki te kura.
hei tohu ake ki te kura,
I te rehutai.
I te rehutai.
Te whakawhiti o te rā,
Te whakawhiti tūna,
te whakaai o whenua,
te whakaai o whenua,
hoki muri mai au ki te iwi.
hoki muri mai au ki te iwi.
Te ara I whanatuaira.
The other.
I whanatuaira.
Shall we give it a go, Henewai?
Amen.
Just the waiata? I'll come and stand by Henewai. We'll give you a version of what it's supposed to what it's supposed to be
I
like.
like how you moved.
In the future.
On Rex, give him a hand.
Te ara I whanatuaira, pūrākau e tū mai nei, e piki ki runga rā, kia marama ahau, kei raro ko te matau, te whakatikanga ake ki runga rā, ka titi wha te rehutai, te ara I whanatuaira, ko te kura ki ahau, hei tohu no ake, ki te kura I te hutai, te whakawhiti o te rā, te whakaai o whenua, hoki muri mai au ki te iwi, te ara I whanatuaira.
Outstanding. We know what we're doing every time now, don't we, Rick?
Yeah.
That was outstanding,
Soldier's
guys.
gone. Get yourself.
Fantastic.